Hello friends, welcome to Book Bites. Today we'll talk about book The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel delves deep into the emotional and psychological aspects of money. Unlike typical personal finance books that focus on investment strategies or budgeting tips, Housel's approach is more about understanding human behavior, emotions and biases when it comes to money. Through compelling stories, research-backed insights and thought-provoking examples, Housel explains how people's relationship with money often stems from psychological patterns, unconscious biases, and past experiences, rather than logic or mathematical reasoning. The book presents the idea that financial success is not just about knowing the right financial strategies or tactics, but about how one thinks about and behaves with money. In fact, the way people handle money is often influenced more by their emotions, upbringing, and psychological tendencies than by the objective facts of investing and wealth building. Housel's perspective challenges the traditional narrative around money and focuses on the importance of mindset and behavioral psychology in shaping financial outcomes. The author emphasizes that becoming wealthy is more about patience, long-term thinking, and emotional control rather than quick decisions or seeking the next hot tip for making money. He believes that understanding the psychological aspects of money allows individuals to make better financial decisions, avoid common mistakes, and ultimately lead a more fulfilling and financially secure life. This book encourages readers to focus not only on how much money they make, but on how they think about, manage, and use their wealth. Through a blend of anecdotes, research findings, and practical advice, The Psychology of Money provides a refreshing take on personal finance that is as much about understanding human nature as it is about improving financial literacy. Now let's explore the key concepts of this book in more detail. Let's explore the concepts of the book, breaking them down point by point and refining the explanation to ensure clarity and precision. Point 1. Luck and risk, the two forces that shape financial outcomes. In the opening chapters of The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel introduces the idea that financial success is often influenced by factors outside of one's control, luck and risk. These two forces shape the financial outcomes of individuals and businesses in ways that are often overlooked or misunderstood. Understanding luck and risk. Housel explains that while we often celebrate successful people and their financial achievements, we fail to recognize the role of luck in their success. Similarly, when people fail, the role of risk is frequently underappreciated. People often attribute success to skill, hard work, and smart decision-making without acknowledging the randomness and chance that play a significant role in financial outcomes. For instance, some individuals are simply born into favorable circumstances, whether it's a supportive family, access to resources, or a particular economic environment. These advantages may provide them with the opportunities they need to succeed, but such circumstances are often due to sheer luck. On the other hand, others may face systemic barriers, such as limited access to capital or education, which can put them at a disadvantage. These barriers are examples of risk factors that can undermine even the most well-intentioned efforts. The problem with overestimating control. A common mistake that people make is overestimating their control over their financial situation. When we see someone become wealthy or successful, we often assume they achieved their success solely through hard work, intelligence, and good decision-making. However, the truth is that many of these individuals may have been in the right place at the right time, which is a matter of luck. Housel uses the example of an entrepreneur who becomes successful due to a unique market opportunity or external factors, such as technological advancements or a shift in consumer behavior. While the entrepreneur may have been skilled and worked hard, it was the timing and circumstances that ultimately made the difference. Others with similar skills and effort may not have had the same luck and thus would not experience the same level of success. Risk, the unseen influence. While luck can propel individuals forward, risk can also pull them back. Risk involves factors beyond our control, such as economic downturns, market crashes, or personal misfortunes like illness or accidents. These events can have a profound effect on one's financial stability and wealth-building journey. Despite making sound decisions, individuals may still face setbacks that are entirely out of their control. Housel emphasizes that the key to navigating both luck and risk is acknowledging their existence and understanding their impact on our financial lives. Accepting that some factors are beyond our control allows us to be more humble in our successes and more resilient in our failures. This awareness of luck and risk can also help us make more informed decisions by recognizing that a certain degree of randomness is always at play. The role of humility and resilience. The takeaway from this chapter is that humility and resilience are essential traits when it comes to financial success. Those who succeed must understand that their success might not be entirely due to their own efforts. Similarly, those who experience failure should recognize that it may not be entirely their fault either. Financial decisions are influenced by a combination of factors, and by acknowledging the role of luck and risk, we can approach our finances with greater perspective and balance. In conclusion, the psychology of money teaches that we must embrace the uncertainties that come with managing money. Luck and risk are inevitable forces in life, and understanding how they shape our financial journeys can help us manage expectations, minimize frustration, and make more prudent decisions for the future. The next point will delve into how individual psychology and temperament shape financial decisions, and why emotional control is so vital to long-term wealth. Point 2. The role of behavior in financial success. Why temperament beats intelligence. One of the central ideas in the psychology of money is that financial success is not determined by intelligence, formal education, or high income alone. It's determined more by behavior. Morgan Housel argues that how you behave with money is far more important than what you know about money. This idea challenges traditional beliefs that emphasize technical knowledge, market predictions, or advanced investment strategies as the primary drivers of wealth. Why behavior matters more than knowledge. The financial world is filled with incredibly smart people who still make terrible money decisions. Why? Because knowing how money works is only part of the equation. The other part, often overlooked, is how you behave when dealing with money. Do you panic during a market downturn and sell your investments at a loss? Do you save consistently even when tempted to spend? These behavioral traits, patience, discipline, emotional control, often make the difference between financial success and failure. Behavioral traits like frugality, patience, and the ability to delay gratification are not taught in school, but they are essential for managing money wisely. Even someone with a modest income can build significant wealth over time if they make steady, patient, and emotionally intelligent choices. On the other hand, someone earning a high salary may remain financially unstable if they lack these behavioral habits. The importance of temperament. Housel emphasizes that temperament, your emotional response to financial ups and downs, is more valuable than raw intelligence. A calm, consistent investor who avoids impulsive decisions is likely to outperform a genius who gets swayed by greed, fear, or overconfidence. For instance, during financial crises, markets often drop dramatically. People who panic and sell at the bottom may lock in their losses, while those who stay calm and maintain their long-term perspective are more likely to recover and eventually grow their wealth. It's not that the calm investor is smarter, it's that their behavior is more stable and grounded. Money is emotional, not logical. Another point Housel makes is that money is deeply emotional. People do not make financial decisions based purely on spreadsheets or facts. They do so based on life experience, personal beliefs, family influence, and even trauma. Two people can look at the same financial data and make completely opposite decisions because their personal histories shape how they perceive risk and reward. For example, someone who grew up during a recession may be more cautious with money than someone who experienced years of booming economic growth. These emotional and psychological influences often have a bigger impact on financial decisions than logic or expertise. You don't need to be a genius to be rich. Housel argues that average people with above-average behavior can become wealthy, while highly intelligent people with poor money habits can stay broke. The key behaviors include living below your means, saving regularly, avoiding high debt, and investing with patience. These actions are simple but not easy because they require strong emotional discipline. In fact, trying to outsmart the market or chase the highest returns often backfires. The most successful investors tend to be those who keep things simple, avoid emotional reactions, and stick to a consistent plan. That's why temperament, your ability to stay grounded and make rational decisions, is more important than financial brilliance. Conclusion. In summary, Morgan Housel's second major concept is a powerful reminder. It's not what you know, but how you behave that determines your financial outcomes. The stock market rewards patience and punishes impulsiveness. Wealth is built through consistency, not brilliance. By cultivating the right behavior, humility, emotional control, long-term thinking, you can achieve financial success even without advanced knowledge. The next point will explore why getting wealthy and staying wealthy are two entirely different skills. Point 3. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy, different skills for different stages. Morgan Housel draws a powerful distinction in the psychology of money. Getting wealthy is not the same as staying wealthy. These two phases of financial life require entirely different mindsets and behaviors. Understanding this distinction is essential for anyone who wants long-term financial success. The skill of getting wealthy. Getting wealthy often requires a certain degree of risk-taking, optimism, and bold action. Entrepreneurs, investors, or people who build successful careers usually get wealthy by identifying opportunities, taking calculated risks, working hard, and believing in future gains. This phase is about growth, ambition, and creating value. For example, someone might invest aggressively in a startup, take out loans to build a business, or put money into high-risk stocks early in life. These moves, while risky, can lead to substantial wealth creation. But this kind of approach doesn't always help in keeping the wealth once it's made. The skill of staying wealthy. Staying wealthy, however, depends on very different qualities: humility, frugality, and the constant fear that it can all be lost. It's about protecting what you have, rather than maximizing what you could gain. People who stay wealthy tend to be cautious, plan for the unexpected, and resist the urge to chase fast profits. Housel points out that survival is the key to staying rich. This means having a margin of safety, extra savings, diversified investments, and avoiding situations that could wipe out your finances. A big win can make you rich, but one big mistake can undo years of success. That's why staying rich requires you to avoid ruin at all costs. Moxer, optimism versus caution. There's a kind of tension between the optimism needed to get rich and the caution needed to stay rich. Many people struggle with this transition. They keep taking risks even after they've achieved financial security, hoping to get even richer, and end up losing everything. Or they become too cautious early and never take the steps necessary to grow their wealth. A smart financial life is about knowing when to switch gears. Early in life, it may make sense to take bold steps to build assets. But once you've achieved a level of financial comfort, your focus should shift to preserving that wealth through careful, low-risk decisions. Examples from real life. There are countless examples of lottery winners, celebrities, and athletes who became wealthy quickly but lost it all due to poor management and reckless decisions. On the other hand, people like Warren Buffett are masters of staying rich, not because they chase big wins, but because they avoid big losses and stick to timeless principles. Conclusion. Getting and staying rich require different emotional tools. Getting rich requires offense, staying rich requires defense. Knowing when to play each role is what sets successful long-term investors and savers apart. Morgan Housel teaches us that financial wisdom isn't just about making money, it's about keeping it safe and growing it responsibly. The next concept will dive into the role of compounding and why time is more powerful than intelligence in building wealth. Point 4. The power of compounding. Time is more important than intelligence. One of the most transformative lessons in the psychology of money is the concept of compounding, the idea that small, consistent gains over time can produce extraordinary results. Morgan Housel emphasizes that compounding is not just a mathematical concept, it's a mindset. More importantly, he argues that time matters more than intelligence when it comes to building wealth. Compounding in action. Compounding means earning returns not just on your initial investment but also on the returns that investment has already generated. Over time, the snowball effect grows more powerful. It's not about doubling your money overnight. It's about being patient and consistent over years or even decades. For example, Warren Buffett's net worth didn't skyrocket because he's the smartest investor alive, though he is brilliant. It's because he's been investing since he was a child and never stopped. Housel points out that Buffett made more than 90% of his wealth after the age of 50, which illustrates how crucial time is to compounding, time brilliance. A common misconception is that building wealth requires extreme intelligence, financial expertise, or insider knowledge. Housel challenges this idea, showing that being consistently pretty good over a long period beats being occasionally brilliant. Financial success doesn't require being a genius, it requires patience, discipline, and a long-term view. Consider two investors. One earns high returns for 10 years but then stops. Another earns average returns for 40 years without interruption. The second investor usually ends up with more wealth, purely because time multiplies the effects of modest gains, the compounding mindset. To truly benefit from compounding, you must develop a long-term mindset. That means avoiding panic during market crashes, resisting the urge to time the market, letting your investments grow without frequent interference. People often underestimate the value of compounding because the benefits show up slowly at first. But over decades, they become astronomical. Housel warns us not to interrupt this process by withdrawing money early, changing strategies too often, or seeking quick wins. Practical applications. Compounding doesn't just apply to money, it also works in knowledge, relationships, health, and habits. A small improvement each day in any area of life compounds over time into something significant. This broadens the idea from a financial rule into a life philosophy. Conclusion. Compounding rewards consistency more than brilliance. The secret to great financial outcomes is not extraordinary returns, but moderate returns sustained over a very long time. As Housel says, good investing is not necessarily about making good decisions. It's about consistently not screwing up. The real power comes not from what you do once, but what you do over and over again for a long time. Point 5. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy, two different skills. One of the most thought-provoking insights in the psychology of money is Morgan Housel's distinction between getting wealthy and staying wealthy. While many people focus intensely on strategies to accumulate money, few realize that the skills required to hold on to wealth are entirely different and often more difficult to master. Getting wealthy, the role of risk and boldness. To get wealthy, you often need to take risks, make bold moves, seize opportunities, and sometimes bet on uncertain outcomes. Entrepreneurs, investors, and even employees who climb high in their careers usually do so by being ambitious, determined, and occasionally lucky. Building wealth can involve investing in stocks or starting a business, taking calculated risks, leveraging your time and money for higher returns. These are offensive strategies. They require confidence, vision, and often some degree of aggression. Staying wealthy, the role of humility and caution. On the other hand, staying wealthy is a defensive game. It requires humility, fear of loss, frugality, and self-awareness. Housel emphasizes that staying rich requires a survival mindset. Once you've built wealth, you must protect it by avoiding overconfidence and understanding that the future is unpredictable. This means having a strong emergency fund, being properly insured, avoiding risky investments even when tempted, living below your means. As Housel puts it, there are a million ways to get wealthy, but only one way to stay wealthy. Some combination of frugality and paranoia. Why people lose wealth? Many people lose wealth because they don't shift their mindset after accumulating money. They continue to take big risks or spend recklessly, believing their success will continue forever. History is full of wealthy individuals and businesses who lost everything not because they weren't smart, but because they didn't respect uncertainty, randomness, and change. Enron, Lehman Brothers, and countless real estate moguls during the 2008 crash fell victim to this mistake. They had mastered the getting rich part but failed to prepare for downturns, balance between offense and defense. The wisest investors, according to Housel, are those who balance optimism about the future with realistic caution about what could go wrong. They build systems to protect themselves from bad luck, bad timing, or bad decisions even when things seem to be going well. For example, Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, keeps billions in cash reserves not because it earns high returns, but because it ensures survival in tough times. Conclusion. Getting rich and staying rich require opposite but equally important skills. Getting rich involves risk-taking, vision, and optimism. Staying rich depends on prudence, humility, and a respect for risk. The real wealth isn't just what you earn, it's what you keep. And keeping it means playing the long game with eyes wide open. Point 6. Tails drive everything, the power of extreme events. One of the most eye-opening concepts in the psychology of money is Morgan Housel's explanation that a small number of events, known as tail events or outliers, often account for the majority of outcomes in life, investing, and success. This idea challenges our assumption that success is the result of consistent, predictable progress. What are tail events? In statistics and investing, a tail event refers to rare occurrences that fall at the extremes of a probability distribution, very good or very bad events. These are not common, but they have disproportionately large impacts. For example, a few winning stocks, like Apple or Amazon, account for the bulk of gains in the stock market. A few moments in a person's career may be responsible for most of their success. A few decisions, buying a house, starting a business, investing early, can shape your entire financial future. Housel's point: success often hinges not on daily efforts alone, but on a small number of high-impact moments. Examples in real life and investing. Think about Warren Buffett. Over 99% of his wealth came after his 50th birthday, and a huge portion of his investment success is tied to just a handful of companies. If you removed Buffett's top 10 investments, his record would look far less impressive. This isn't because he failed in the rest, it's because a small number of extreme successes had such a huge positive impact. Similarly, in business, companies like Google, Facebook, and Tesla were once outliers, big bets that paid off. Venture capitalists often invest in 50 startups, expecting that only one or two will return all the profits. What this means for you? Most people expect progress to be linear, but Housel reminds us that we should embrace randomness and patience. You might try 10 things and only one works, but that one success can change everything. This has major implications. In your career, don't be discouraged by multiple failures or average performances. One opportunity can change your trajectory. In investing, avoid obsessing over every small up or down. Focus on staying in the game long enough to benefit from rare but powerful tail events. In decision making, take bets that have limited downside but unlimited upside. Patience is key. Since we never know which moment will be the tail, the key is to keep showing up, keep investing, keep learning, and give yourself the time and opportunity to be present when one of those powerful moments comes. Success often isn't about doing everything right, it's about surviving long enough to catch the rare things that go very right. Summary. In life and finance, a few rare events drive the majority of outcomes. Recognizing the power of these tail events helps us become more patient, resilient, and humble. Instead of expecting instant or evenly distributed results, we should build lives and strategies that give us the best chance to benefit from the few extraordinary moments that truly change everything. Point 7. Freedom Wealth, the ultimate goal of money. In The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel presents a powerful idea. The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every day and say, I can do whatever I want today. This point shifts our focus from simply accumulating money to using money as a tool to buy freedom, control, and autonomy over our time. What does freedom really mean? To Housel, freedom doesn't necessarily mean retiring early, quitting your job, or traveling the world non-stop. Instead, it means having control over how you spend your time. It's about being able to work on things that matter to you, say no to things you don't enjoy, take a break when needed, without fear. Choose the people you work with and the environment you live in. This kind of flexibility, where you're not constantly forced to make decisions based on money or obligation, is true wealth. Why freedom is so valuable? Freedom is deeply tied to happiness. Research shows that people who have more control over their schedules report higher satisfaction in life. It's not about being rich, it's about being in charge of your time. Think of it this way. You could have millions in the bank, but if you're working 90-hour weeks in a job you hate, you're not free. You might earn a modest income, but have a flexible schedule and time with your family. In many ways, you're richer than someone who's financially wealthier, but time poor. This reframes the question from how much money should I make, to what kind of life do I want to live. Money buys time if you let it. One mistake people often make is upgrading their lifestyle every time their income increases. This leads to lifestyle inflation, where more money just brings more stress and obligations. Housel warns that this cycle can rob you of the freedom that money is supposed to buy. Instead, he suggests using money to create space in your life, space for rest, creativity, spontaneity, or family. Rather than impressing others, spend your money to improve your quality of life. Small decisions matter. You don't need millions to gain some freedom. Making thoughtful decisions early, like avoiding unnecessary debt, keeping your expenses manageable, saving regularly, can slowly build a life where you're not at the mercy of every paycheck. Even a bit of breathing room, like a few weeks of emergency savings or a part-time work option, can drastically reduce stress and increase your sense of control. Summary. Housel reminds us that true wealth isn't about flashy possessions, it's about autonomy. Money is most powerful when it gives you control over your time, not when it ties you down with more commitments. Financial success should be measured not by numbers, but by how free you feel to live the life you truly want. Point 8. Reasonable rational embrace the imperfect human side of money. One of the most refreshing insights in The Psychology of Money is Morgan Housel's assertion that you don't need to be perfectly rational with money. You just need to be reasonable. This concept challenges the traditional belief that optimal financial decisions must always follow strict logic or data. Instead, Housel argues that emotion, context, and personal comfort matter just as much, if not more, than pure rationality. Why rational doesn't always work. In theory, making financial decisions based solely on data, charts, and probabilities should yield the best results. But humans aren't machines. We're emotional, social, and influenced by fear, hope, culture, and personal experience. For example, it might be rational to invest 100% in high-growth stocks, but if a market dip causes you to panic and sell everything, that rational plan collapses. It might be mathematically smarter to pay off low-interest debt slowly while investing the rest, but the peace of mind from being debt-free may be more valuable emotionally. Being reasonable means accepting your emotional reality and designing your financial life around what helps you sleep at night, not just what looks perfect on paper. Examples of reasonable choices. 1. Oversaving. Saving more than you technically need may seem irrational if you look at retirement calculators, but it's reasonable if it makes you feel secure during uncertain times. 2. Keeping a cash cushion. Holding some cash even when it earns little to no interest isn't rational from an investment perspective, but it provides flexibility and calm during emergencies. 3. Conservative investing. Choosing safer investments like bonds or index funds over potentially higher return options can be a reasonable trade-off for lower stress and risk. These choices may not optimize every dollar, but they optimize your life, which matters more in the long run, behavior over math. Housel emphasizes that behavior trumps spreadsheets. The best financial plan isn't the one that maximizes your returns, it's the one you can stick with over decades. A reasonable plan that aligns with your values, goals, and emotions is far more powerful than a perfect strategy you abandon during a market downturn. Flexibility is strength. The key takeaway here is that life changes, markets fluctuate, and personal circumstances evolve. A financial plan must allow for flexibility and human error. Being too rigid in your pursuit of the best plan can backfire. Being reasonable gives you room to adjust and keep going when the unexpected happens. Summary. Perfection is not the goal, sustainability is. Housel invites us to stop chasing hyper-optimization and start focusing on what's good enough, consistent, and emotionally sustainable. By embracing reasonableness over pure logic, we can build financial habits that endure, support our peace of mind, and ultimately lead to greater long-term success. Point 9. Wealth is what you don't see, the invisible nature of true riches. One of the most thought-provoking lessons in the psychology of money is Morgan Housel's observation that wealth is often invisible. While flashy cars, designer clothes, and luxury vacations scream rich, true wealth is what you don't see: savings, investments, and financial freedom quietly growing in the background. Spending versus saving, the illusion of richness. In society, people often associate wealth with visible symbols: a big house, a brand new car, or an exotic trip. But these things represent money that's been spent, not money that's being accumulated. As Housel puts it, spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. Real wealth is what remains after you've bought those things. It's the money you didn't spend. It's the assets building silently in your savings account, retirement fund, or real estate portfolio. Why invisible wealth matters. Invisible wealth provides freedom of choice to retire early, to take a sabbatical, to say no to a toxic job. Creates peace of mind, knowing you're prepared for emergencies, builds long-term security for your family, even if nobody else can see it. Housel argues that many people miss out on this because they're too focused on projecting an image rather than building substance. The problem with comparison. One of the biggest traps people fall into is trying to keep up with others. Social media and peer pressure push us to showcase success. But Housel warns that people often compare themselves to others who might be deeply in debt, despite appearances. Just because someone looks rich doesn't mean they are. Learning to resist this temptation to define wealth on your own terms frees you from a cycle of consumption and helps you focus on what truly matters. Saving as a display of strength. While society rewards spending with applause and admiration, Housel redefines saving as a powerful, silent form of self-control and confidence. Saving requires foregoing short-term pleasures for long-term security. It's not glamorous, but it's deeply meaningful. You might not get likes or compliments for maxing out your retirement account or driving a modest car, but over time these choices compound into a strong financial foundation. Summary. True wealth isn't what meets the eye. It's quiet, patient, and often unnoticed. Housel urges us to move away from performative wealth and toward purposeful accumulation. By focusing on what we don't spend, we build resilience, flexibility, and lasting freedom. Real wealth, in its purest form, is the ability to live life on your own terms, not to impress others, but to satisfy your own values and goals. Point 10. You're not alone. The role of luck, risk, and humility in financial success. In the final and perhaps most humbling insight of the psychology of money, Morgan Housel emphasizes the profound and often underestimated roles of luck and risk in shaping financial outcomes. He argues that success in money is not always a direct result of intelligence, hard work, or planning sometimes. It's just luck. Similarly, financial setbacks don't always reflect poor decisions, sometimes it's just risk playing its role. Understanding the role of luck. Housel highlights that no one's financial path is purely the result of their efforts. For example, Bill Gates attended one of the only high schools in the world that had a computer in the 1960s. His environment, timing, and access to technology played a major role in his success, factors largely beyond his control. This doesn't mean Gates wasn't brilliant or hardworking, but it shows how even the most remarkable stories are influenced by unseen, uncontrollable elements. When we understand that luck plays a role, we begin to treat others and ourselves with more empathy and humility. It reminds us not to judge people solely based on outcomes and not to overestimate our own control. The unpredictable nature of risk. On the flip side, risk is always present. Even the best planned financial decisions can go wrong due to unforeseen circumstances, job loss, illness, economic downturns. Housel urges readers to recognize that bad outcomes don't always mean bad decisions. This is liberating because it helps us separate the quality of our decisions from the randomness of results. That's why he advocates for margin of safety in finances, saving more than necessary, being conservative with debt, and always preparing for the unexpected. This mindset builds resilience and prevents overconfidence. The power of humility. Housel argues that acknowledging luck and risk leads to financial humility, a trait as important as financial literacy. It helps you avoid arrogance during successful periods and avoid despair during tough times. Humility keeps your ego in check and encourages ongoing learning and adaptation. It also promotes kindness and fairness. When we see how chance affects outcomes, we are less likely to criticize others for their failures or idolize others for their success. Don't copy others blindly. Just as every person's life is shaped by different circumstances, so is their financial path. Copying someone else's financial plan, no matter how successful they are, might not work for you. Housel encourages readers to develop personal financial strategies rooted in their own goals, risk tolerance, and values. Summary. The final principle of the psychology of money brings it all together. You're not entirely in control, and that's okay. By accepting the roles of luck and risk, you cultivate humility, make wiser decisions, and develop a more compassionate view of others. Instead of seeking perfection, the goal becomes sustainability, building a financial life that's resilient, personal, and adaptable to life's unpredictability. Conclusion of the book, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. The Psychology of Money is not just a book about finance. It is a deep and thoughtful exploration of how human behavior, emotions, and perception shape our relationship with money. Morgan Housel masterfully combines stories, historical anecdotes, and behavioral science to convey a singular truth. Managing money is not about knowledge, it's about behavior. And behavior is shaped not by facts or numbers, but by our life experiences, emotions, and psychology. The book's greatest contribution is in challenging the conventional wisdom that wealth comes solely from intelligence or superior financial strategies. Instead, Housel introduces the importance of patience, consistency, humility, and long-term thinking. He demonstrates that time, when combined with discipline, can be the most powerful force in building wealth. He reminds us that getting rich and staying rich are two different skills. One requires boldness, the other restraint. Housel also emphasizes the personal nature of money. Everyone has different goals, values, and life experiences that influence their financial decisions. Therefore, there is no universal right way to manage money. What matters is finding an approach that aligns with your values and allows you to sleep peacefully at night. Furthermore, the book encourages readers to accept uncertainty, recognize the roles of luck and risk, and build systems that are resilient to life's unpredictability. By promoting a mindset of psychological stability, saving regularly, avoiding envy, planning for the long term, Housel teaches us how to reduce financial stress and increase satisfaction. In essence, the psychology of money teaches us that wealth isn't just what you see: cars, houses, luxury. True wealth is what you don't see: the savings, the freedom, the peace of mind. The real reward of good financial behavior is not flashy but powerful. It's the ability to live life on your own terms.